Good morning, guys. It's Saturday morning. It's a beautiful summer day outside, and I just wanted to make a quick little video. I got some time, so I want to make a quick video, and it was a video by request, and it is a nice video for me because I deal with this every once in a while. For me, anyway, what we're talking about is sciatic nerve pain. They call it sciatica, right? I've never been to a doctor and been diagnosed with sciatica when I was dealing with this before. But for me, when it happens, when I feel this nerve pain, it's pain that starts right here on the top, outside of my right glutes here, my butt cheek, bam, and I can feel pain running down the sciatic nerve, which runs down your leg. I feel that pain can radiate down my leg. So anyway, what happens for me when I get it is usually after a whole lot of sitting, especially long trips in the car. That's like the big time for me when it pops up every once in a while. It's not a huge problem for me, but it is something I've dealt with. And so I wanted to share the exercises, my go-to exercises. There are 3 stretches and 3 exercises that I focus on to help relieve that pain when it pops up for me. So first I'm going to start out with the 3 stretches, and then I'm going to start out with give you the 3 exercises afterwards. And then this video was by request from my friend Steve Harsh. He was wondering if I had any tips. And I'm not going to tell you this is the cure. I'm not a physical therapist. I just do these exercises. I do what works for me, and these are my suggestions for some clients whenever I've seen them deal with this kind of issue before. And a lot of this stuff is trial and error. There's so many. You can go on the internet and look up exercises for sciatica relief. And there's going to be just a ton of different stretches, a ton of different suggested exercises. And I'm just going to narrow it down to a few that I do when it pops up for me and where I found some relief. So here we go. To start with, I start with a stretch. And this one I call sciatic nerve flossing. I start with a hamstring stretch, basically. Grab behind the top, right behind my knee in the hamstring area. I'm going to pull that leg in and kind of cross body. So if you see, I'm not just pulling it back, I'm going to pull off to the opposite side some. I'm going to bend the knee, pull it in a little bit more, and then I'm just extending and flexing my knee, trying to move that sciatic nerve. And you can feel it. You can feel a little electricity sometimes when you're doing this. You can feel running down. I can feel a little tingle running down the leg there. Just flossing on that sciatic nerve. Also, you're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch. And so what I would do is pull the knee off. I'm doing my right leg right now. That's the side that ever pops up on me. I'm going to pull that right knee across the body towards the left, and then just sit here and flex and extend my knee. Extend and flex and floss on that for a little bit. It doesn't really matter the number in my book, but I say a little more reps is better than just 3 or 4 reps. So you're shooting for, I don't know, 15 to 20 pumps, whatever feels real good to you. You can start with just 10 just to check it out. But just a little hold and bend. Little hold and bend. Bam. Now normally I do both sides, but if you just got one side and you don't have a whole lot of time, just do that one side that's bugging you. And then we go into what I call the figure 4 stretch. It's not just what is called the figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to take the side I'm trying to stretch. I'm going to put the right knee or right ankle on top of the left knee right here, so you can see figure 4, right? And then I'm going to grab through the hole of the 4 and grab behind the hamstring of my left leg. And I'm pulling it in. So right here, we're getting a good piriformis stretch here. We're stretching on the hamstring some. You're just going to feel that a lot in that right butt cheek. And that's where that sciatic nerve gets impinged in the area between muscles in the glute. We're going to pull that leg in and just hold. And I want you to hold for about 30 to 60 seconds, just holding that stretch as long as it feels okay. If you're dealing with a lot of sciatic nerve pain that's really intense, Don't try to push through some intense pain. But right now, just see if you get a good stretch and pull it in. Hang out for about 30 seconds to a minute. Try it out, and you can do a couple rounds of that. And then a hip flexor stretch. I like to focus on muscles of the opposite side of my body also when I'm doing things. A lot of times we deal with issues and you think, oh, I need to stretch and roll, foam roll, and all this stuff right in that area. And I can tell you, when you're dealing with sciatic nerve pain, sometimes it is not a good idea to go ahead and foam roll that. You might just make that stuff feel worse. So let's work on some stretches instead. But anyway, opposite muscles of your hip extensors, which are your glutes, are going to be your hip flexors. And so we're going to stretch those a little bit too. A lot of people deal with, most of us all have some shortened hip flexors because we just live in this seated position all the time. You know, we're seated, going all through school, we're seated. In most of the jobs these days, everybody's seated. Well, I don't know about most, but a ton of jobs these days, you're seated. We sit in our cars, we sit at the dinner table, we sit on the toilet, we're sitting to watch TV, just sitting all the time. So I want you to stretch your hip flexors too. So here in this position, this half kneeling position, I'm stretching my right side. I'm going to actively squeeze the muscles of the glutes to put my hips into extension. So I'm already starting to feel a little bit of a stretch because I'm squeezing the butt cheek down. Push forward into the hip, try to put pressure here. I'm not trying to get into my back, just pushing into the hip as the glutes squeeze. I'm going to reach up with that right hand and slightly lean towards the left, the opposite side of the muscles you're trying to stretch. And I'm just squeezing the glute, pushing into the hip, all that all at once. And just feeling a nice stretch up front here. Same kind of thing. We're going to do about 30 or 60 seconds. Just feel the stretch, and really I'm kind of just trying to feel a little bit of release when it comes to stretching. Starts out feeling really intense stretch, and things just kind of ease up. And then around there, that's what I call her good. So I'm just doing them real quick and short right now. And then for the exercises, so you've done these stretches and things are starting to loosen up a bit. Now I want to strengthen the muscles around this area some. So I'm going to do some glute bridges. So this is a hip thrust, glute bridges. We're trying to activate the glutes, strengthen the muscles of the hip extensors. So right here, I got my feet fairly close to my butt, flat on the ground here, but then now I'm going to lift up my toes, and I'm just trying to activate the glutes more. Raising my toes up in this situation seems to help me activate the glutes more. And so it's usually how I coach it. We're going to squeeze glutes just to raise the hips up and then back down. Bam. This is working on that hip hinging motion. Trying to keep toes face forward. Squeeze your butt cheeks to raise the hips up. At the top, should feel something like shoulders, hips, and knees are basically in line. And then back down. So we're not bending through the spine, we're bending through the hips. And so we're pumping on those glutes just to get some blood flow in there and strengthen those muscles here. And I want you to do 20 reps. Bam, get some blood flowing. And then I'm gonna go grab a band. Got a little green band here. And we're just gonna strengthen the hip adductors. So we're gonna put the band around the ankles, and I want you to keep tension in the band, toes face forward, walking to the side. We're gonna make the movement happen through the legs and hips, not by rocking here like this. Bam, we're keeping the torso upright, stepping to the side, keep a little tension in the band, and you're gonna move back and forth. And I'm thinking somewhere around really 12 to 20 steps. I just want you to feel somewhat of a burn here in the hips. I don't want it to be crazy intense. It doesn't have to be, especially when we're dealing with that sciatic nerve pain. Let's just get some blood flowing, strengthen those muscles some. Bam. So working on maybe like 12 to 15 steps each way for a set. And then the last one, work on strengthening the core. And one of the most basic core strengthening movements, and I'm looking for more core stability over like just squeezing and pumping muscles, you know, like really trying to get those abs with crunches. I'm looking for core stability to protect my spine. The sciatic nerve pain, these nerves come out of your spine. And so we're looking to try to help protect against impingements in the nerves. All right, so here, core, one of the most basic core exercises is the front plank. We're gonna hang out here in a front plank. What I want you to pay attention to is your low back. You wanna feel all this in the front, on your abs, not in your back at all. So if you're feeling it in your back, you're doing it wrong. If you look right now, you can see my back's in extension. Low back's taking all the weight. So if your butt's popping up like this and your back is dipping down like a tired donkey, something like that, then I want you to think about tucking your tailbone under your hips here. Tuck it under. Squeeze those abs tight. And you should be feeling it up front. Arms are parallel, elbows under shoulders, and you're just hanging out here. Neck is neutral, you're not just hanging your neck down. Bam, just planking strong. Squeeze those abs tight. And you're gonna go about 30 seconds if you can. Just do what you can. Find a challenge there and let it go. If it's only 20 seconds, 10 seconds, start with those and do a few rounds of it. But if you can, do 30 to 60 seconds. Just riding with that plank. And then do those 3 exercises for 2 or 3 rounds just to get you going. Depending on your fitness level, 1 or 2 rounds could be challenging, but 3 rounds just to get you working on these muscles in the area of the hips and the core. That's what I want you to start with, and that's it. So go through those 3 stretches: the lying sciatic nerve floss, the figure 4 stretch, and your hip flexor stretch. Try it out. I'm not going to say that this is going to cure your sciatic nerve pain, but it's a group of exercises that has worked for me when I focus on them for a little bit when I'm feeling the pain. I never have had super intense sciatic nerve pain. It's just basically been when I've been seated way too much. And probably for me, it's the fact that I'm just getting things moving and working some muscles, and then everything starts to feel better. So if it's super intense, super bad, don't think, hey, Mike, your exercises didn't work. Maybe they'll give you some relief, maybe not. If it's super bad, you need to go and see a doctor or a physical therapist to maybe help you out in that situation. I'm not either of those. I'm just a personal trainer, but I want to help you out if I can. So here you go. Try these exercises out. I'll write them out in the description so you know what I said here. If you don't really remember, go through them. Let me know if it's helped. If it didn't, I really hope you can find some relief. Pain really kind of stinks when you're not trying to push yourself there. Like, there's different kinds of pain. But man, I don't really like pain a whole lot, except for the pain of that barbell hurting me to help me build stronger. But that's it. All right, guys, enough of my blah blah. We'll talk to you later. I love you. Bye.